It's that video game that I wanted to stream some more of tonight now that it's the weekend and I have some time to stream some more of this. A couple announcements that are important to make before we continue with this though. One, I changed the layout here. I realized that, wait a second, I have two different potential layouts for a game capture. I have this one, which is the scale that we were using before, and that's what I've been using lately for Fire Emblem Fates. And then there's this one, which enlarges the top screen in favor of, like, making the bottom screen smaller. Smallening. It enlarges and it smallens. I don't know. It makes the bottom screen smaller. And I knew that it was already set up for this resolution here, or aspect ratio, or whatever the heck. Since that's what I've been shooting Fire Emblem Fates on. And I was like, you know, this will work fine for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. But then on actually playing this a little bit, I was like, huh, the bottom screen really isn't that important here. Like, if I turn on display capture, or I just go to, like, here, let's go to a layout like this. Whoa. And then boop it bop like that. If we look at this, for example, it's like, in the actual dungeons, here's the actual gameplay and interesting stuff happening, and here's the map. There's really not all that much that's too important here, I don't think. So I was like, wait a second, why don't I just use my aspect ratio where this is bigger and then this is smaller? And I realized that was kind of dumb, but I guess that's what happens when you throw together a layout at 2 in the morning, the night before you stream a thing. And even decide no, you set up the layout at 3 in the morning after deciding at 2 in the morning that that's the thing that you were streaming the following day. So that's what happens when I put together a layout like really fast on the fly, and then that occurs, and yeah. So, layout change there. Just slight aspect ratio change and then rearrange elements here. I was like, okay, maybe now the Riolu and Fennekin works okay. So, you know, like, maybe now I can slap it on, it's fitting and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what happens when you do a 3 AM layout and you're so tired and you just want to get to sleep and want to get up at a decent hour because you want to stream this for a decent part of the day during the day. Also, with how long this is definitely going to be taking me here, it continues to astound me that I did this in one sitting the last time that I did this. Also, I tried to press the A button on my keyboard where it usually is, but then it occurred to me that I was playing with controller and stuff, so I didn't even have my controller plugged in. So, whoops. Let's see here. I think the second one is better, but can't remember if Super Mario uses the touchscreen as much as PMD Sky does. It doesn't really use all that much with it. And so I was just like, yeah, let's go ahead with this, where it's like, here's more focus on the top screen. And of course, there's like full focus on the top screen as well that I still have access to, so at least that's unchanged across like cutscenes and stuff. But yeah, during general gameplay, you can now see more of the gameplay a little bit easier. So I should have done that before, but I was really tired and not in my right mind, but better late than never, right? Even if it's not consistent layout across the playthrough, that's whatever. But yeah, hello Lancer, Harmonia Nation Education, that's definitely what's going on here. Get ready for the great education that comes with the... What's the school called in this game? Does the school have a name in this game? Is it just called, like, the school? Harmonia woke up just like always and had breakfast with Nuzleaf. Of what? And then head to class with Klexos. People won't notice in the video. This will be part of the video, then after school. If you go, like, from the last part, which would be part 10, to this, which would be part 11, like, you'll see a difference, which is like, wait, why'd the aspect ratio change? And, like, there's doodles and stuff here now. Yeah, surely not. School's out. Let's go to the plaza. Let's start our Junior Expedition Society work right away. And I could have also looked into the custom textures thingamabob, how some of the thingamabobs are scaled up in the portrait arts here, and others aren't, or just take off the custom textures or something, but then I was like, I don't know. And the other announcement to make was, I forget if, oh my goodness, your pathfinding isn't exactly amazing. I forget if it was the day of, or the immediate day after I first streamed this game, that the developers of Yuzu and Citra, which are the developers of the emulator that I'm using here right now, settled out of court with Nintendo for $2.4 million after Nintendo put up a bit of a lawsuit against them, because of their software promoting piracy. In case anyone's wondering, all the games I play on this channel on, like, my Citra emulator here are all dumped from my actual 3DS. I have a custom firmware 3DS, so I do that. And yeah, the emulators are taken down. So I always list in my description and stuff like that the various emulators being used if I'm using one. But now you just can't really get this anymore. Like, I'm sure that there might be some other workarounds to potentially get it, but this is just gonzo. And from what I've heard, there isn't like any other major 3DS emulators, which meant it's a really, really dark time for classic games preservation, considering Nintendo isn't exactly selling any of their 3DS games anymore or manufacturing any of those. You can't even buy them digitally anymore. They took down the eShop last year. So now, like, the last place that you can kind of keep on playing some 3DS games isn't even really a thing that you can get anymore. So yeah, it's not great. But yeah, someone will probably eventually come and make this, but it'll be hard. What with Citra and stuff. I assume that there will be, and now there's like a void that's to be filled and stuff like that. There's a couple, but they all suck balls. Oh, I mean, there's a Mickage in development. Okay. As far as that, Nintendo didn't care about Citra and 3DS games. Yeah, they cared about Yuzu specifically. So it's honestly a question of, did they care about the fact that Yuzu was like a major Switch emulator? Like, this is a very major 3DS emulator. It's the major 3DS emulator. But did they care about Yuzu being like a big thing for their current system? And they were super concerned about people pirating their content and just playing on Yuzu? Or did they take issue with the fact that the developers would apparently lock some builds of Citra and Yuzu behind Patreon paywalls, essentially monetizing the emulator service, which is not really something that you should be doing? Did they take issue with that? Or both? Or they just want to set an example, as Nintendo does, to be like, hey, don't screw around with our stuff. We don't like it when you do that. But yeah, with Mickage, that one managed to make the actual 3DS? Or, Hawa? Like, what you mean by that? The other day you found the whole 3DS library dumped in the Internet Archives. Well, it's good that it's up there somewhere, because it's like, Nintendo isn't selling them anymore, or anything like that. So, like, I really don't know what Nintendo expects with their whole stances on their classic game stuff in general. And I swear, more and more every day, I just hate Nintendo as a company. Oh! Anyway, stuff here. Like, they make some good games sometimes, but man, are they a shitty company. Hepfrost, are you okay? Are you okay? Buster Wolf! Yes, I will survive. I recognize that voice. You're those children from the village. Yep, and wanting to start our first expedition as Junior Expedition Society members. Were you really? Well, do your best. But wait, there's more. I am recalled to the fact that I never did explain how to use that connection orb. Silly me, forgetting to explain the most essential parts of the whole process. Indeed. So, if you'll allow me. First, you emulate the entire 3DS library. I will now explain how to use their new connection orb properly, without getting caught by the Nintendo ninjas. First, I'd like you to start by taking out your expedition gadgets. Also, speaking of being taken out by the Nintendo ninjas, I should disclose, none of this is game playing or acquiring advice. Do not take any of what I say as such. Okay, first I'd like you to start by taking out your expedition gadgets. That's what I'm already took out the expedition gadgets. Do open your gadget if you'd be so kind. At least buy me a drink first. Oh, you have the connection orb in there, don't you? Try selecting the connection orb icon on the lower screen. Yes, that's a spirit. Now, have a little look inside. Whoa. I can see a Pokemon. And she seems to be saying something. Whoa, it's one of the new Gen 6 Pokemon, the new evolution. Sylveon, is it? Let's have a closer look. Press A to view a Pokemon's post. Post just makes me think that this is gonna be like some random social media post of like the most deranged crap you've ever seen. I have no idea where I am. Oh, I can see Sylveon's post. Looks like she can't find her way out of a dungeon and needs some help. Yes, that is how the connection orb works. It enables you to see the troubles and wishes of the Pokemon around you. Wow. So, now that you know, what will you do? Will you embark on this expedition? No! Of course, I want to help Sylveon. And go ahead and accept the expedition request. Accept the request? No. Since you've come this far along, do your best to save Sylveon. Okay, well. Jot down on the expedition list. Urinate in the Foreboding Forest. Press B to close the connection orb and head for the Foreboding Forest. Alright, see ya. Very well done, my little villagers. Minecraft quotes out of context here is what that kind of sounds like. This is how you can receive requests for expeditions that need undertaking. Could I ask you to open your expedition gadget once more? Jeez, really pushy here. I just had it open and here. You can see something called the expedition list, yes? Try selecting the expedition list on the lower screen. Yes, that one. Have a look at that list. You can see the expedition request that you recently accepted right here. When you have accepted a great number of requests at one time, you'll find it quite convenient to review them all here. You'll find that you can now visit the Foreboding Forest from the village gates. Good luck on your expeditions then. Yeah, thanks, Ampharos. Alright, this is the real deal. Harmonia, let's do this. Collectors in Harmonia can now use their expedition gadgets. You can check out your list of requests, the map, and the connection orb. Alright, let's see here. Been proven that Yuzu did in fact steal code, huh? And I managed to do like the 3DS home menu. Oh, with that other emulator there, interesting. I think Nintendo went after them just because of Yuzu on the Switch, and the Switch is what they're selling right now, and don't plan on to discontinue it anytime soon like they did recently with the 3DS. I mean, there might be a Switch 2 around the corner potentially, but yeah, we'll see here. It's weird that this very low-tech setting with notice boards that have an equivalent to Craigslist. Nah, don't question it. Still, the Yuzu dev did some very shady stuff. Surprised they weren't sued earlier, huh? I never really looked much into the story behind these, emulators and stuff. Maybe I should do that at some point, because, yeah, I am a little bit curious here. No, you pinpoint the blame on them too. At this point, Nintendo going after emulators is nothing new and to be expected. Yeah, and it's just kind of like what Nintendo does on an impulse, like a knee-jerk reaction kind of thing. Nintendo loves suing people. Like, anyone remember that situation a couple of years ago where the Pokemon company sued a company that doesn't exist? That was actually a really weird situation. It sounds really goofy on paper. I've been putting together a potential script for a Scarlet and Violet DLC video essay if I ever have the time to make it. And in the little bit at the beginning that's talking about, like, hey, here's the story since the main game came out, I'm thinking about potentially including that as a small note just because it sounds really goofy on paper. But the actual real situation was really weird. There was like this company that seemed like it was just copying Pokemon, and like Nintendo didn't know who to sue because it was a company that didn't actually exist and didn't really have anything that traced back to them, and it was just really weird. But it is just funny to say that they sued a company that doesn't exist because it sounds really goofy out of context, but in reality it's really weird. Yeah, sure, that stuff, that sounds good. I looked into it when the lawsuit came out. Oh, I've used Yuzu a whole one time, being during my Fire Emblem Engage playthrough, because the DLC was just so insanely difficult, and I didn't want to engage with how long it would take to grind out the skills and stuff that I want in that. So I started, I don't have a custom firmware switch, so I couldn't exactly transfer my save data. So I started a whole new save file on Yuzu, GDP'd my way to where I was on my physical Switch version, GDP did the skills that I wanted, so giving me the same things that I could obtain legitimately, but just saving time, and then just playing it completely legitimately from there and, like, finishing the DLC and stuff. And then later I figured out a way to grind in not all that bad of time in Fire Emblem Engage, and then I was like, wow, I just did that on Yuzu for, like, no reason, whoops, and now, like, the Fel Xenologue is probably never gonna be beaten on my actual physical Switch. As the case, it's probably gonna be forever stuck unbeaten, and there's, like, a single mustache hair that really wants to get into my mouth. Imagine going on the connection orb and being like, hey, you want to come over and stomp on my trains? By the way, I have like 30 pounds of imitation Krabby meat, so please eat some before it goes bad. Stomp on my trains? What? If this is a figure of speech meaning something else that I can hazard a rough guess at, I've never heard it before. Dungeon Foreboding Forest, yeah. Rescue available 5 times, wow. Yeah, let's go to Foreboding Forest then, I guess. But yeah, it honestly does, doesn't it? What saddens you the most about Citra going down is that Citra for Android also went down. I didn't even know there was Citra for Android. You know how hard it is to get emulators for phone? I do know, as a matter of fact. It is ridiculous. Because I remember in junior high school playing my first ever Fire Emblem game, being sure, just level this up, never mind. Playing Fire Emblem Blazing Blade on my, I beat Fire Emblem Blazing Blade in junior high school. In high school on a Game Boy Advance emulator on my phone, I 100% did A Link to the Past. I played like the first half of Sacred Stones like 4 or 5 times, because the emulator kept going down and I kept on not being able to recover my save data after it kept on getting like locked, not able to be opened, and needing to be re-downloaded, and then bam, there goes my save data. So I've never actually beaten Fire Emblem the Sacred Stones. I don't know how it ends, but I've played the first half of it like at least 4 times by now. And the worst part is that you love emulating NDS and 3DS games on your phone since touchscreen. Yeah, I used to love that with Game Boy Advanced and NDS, especially with NDS. I didn't do as much of it. I was more interested in the Game Boy Advance library, and that wasn't as good on a touchscreen, considering touchscreen controls for what's meant to be physical buttons and stuff, like you don't have a physical feel to what you're pressing in. And when I 100%ed Link to the Past, let me just tell you, touchscreen controls in the Ice Dungeon is like one of the most miserable gaming experiences I've probably ever had. It was not very good. And that's based on actual Craigslist ads, since the connection orb is basically fancy Craigslist. I mean, that's based on actual Craigslist ad. Like, that's a copy-pasted thing from a real Craigslist ad that exists? What? And even if they release a Switch 2, they aren't discontinuing the Switch 1 yet. Yeah. And if they did release a Switch 2, I imagine that it would be back compatible. Well, this sucks. Kind of like most Nintendo consoles are, like, just if it just reiterates on the same idea, then they can continue releasing some games for the Switch that are just like enhanced on the Switch 2, maybe, and then as time goes on, start rolling out Switch 2 exclusives, is how I assume it would go. Like, for example, with Pokemon, with the Nintendo DS, they continued to roll out Nintendo DS Pokemon games even after the 3DS was out. Look at Pokemon Black 2, White 2, or Pokemon Conquest. And what the heck is the thing? What is that, huh? I'm grabbing the money, you can't stop me. As a kid, I always used to think like, why don't the Wonder Tiles heal my status conditions? It's not working. But yeah, I really wish Nintendo took Sega's approach to emulation modding, which is do it, we don't care. I would say Sega has issues, but they don't shut fan stuff down. Yeah, and that's good. And I do wish that was the case for Nintendo too. Or at like the very minimum, if they're not going to like emulators and people playing their legacy content, then just make it available in like a nice way. Instead, they just have the very beginning of their content, like pretty much NES, SNES, and then like a smidge of N64, and like still just a little drop in the bucket in terms of like the overall library of what there actually is on those consoles. Behind a subscription service, you can't buy them, you can't own them. It's like literally a subscription service thing that you have to pay for Nintendo Switch Online, for NES and SNES, or pay extra if you want like N64 and stuff there for the expansion pass. And anything that's newer than that, just hope that they make a really crappy remake of it, like Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, or Mario 3D All-Stars, or Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and pay full price for a piece of crap game that they shoveled out. And like, it's just not great. I forget what the quote was, but I remember there being some quote that was thrown around a lot with the shutdown of Yuzu and Citra, and it's been thrown a lot in general when it comes to like legacy content and stuff like that, and piracy and all that in the industry, where it's like piracy isn't like an issue of theft, it's an issue of, it's like a usability issue, whatever the quote is there, where it's like, if you want people to not be pirating your content, you need to offer them a better service than the pirates do. And right now, the service that Nintendo offers is either go screw yourself, you're not getting this game, have fun paying $300 for Path of Radiance on eBay if you want to play it and get like the original content, or just cross your fingers that will make it available in some really crappy overpriced way, if at all. So it's just, Nintendo just offers you like the most garbage service ever. So like, honestly, is it any wonder that people want to have alternatives to the way that Nintendo handles their classic content? Like, they just need to have they need to make it a lot more usable. If they just had like a virtual console on the Switch, where it's just like, hey, here's basically all our classic games, and you can pay like a small fair price for them, kind of like the virtual console on, like some of the things were a little bit overpriced on the virtual console at times, but like, just have like a virtual console like thing where it's like, there seems to be someone ahead, yeah. Where it's like not half bad prices for legacy games, and you can download them and own them all, and then it'll carry over from console to console. Like, let's say you bought New Super Mario Bros. NES on the on your 3DS or something like that. And then you have that on your account, and then when you play your Nintendo Switch, you can then download New Super Mario Bros. NES. Like, have that stuff carry over. Like, I have a whole bunch of Virtual Console games on my 3DS and my Wii U. How awesome would it be if it tracked that, made a note that, hey, this user owns these games on this Nintendo account. So now when playing on the Switch, you should be able to download those onto the Switch and then have like cloud saves, and then it all syncs, and it's like, wow, that'd be an amazing service. Sign me up, take my money. But nope, they don't want to do stuff like that because it's Nintendo. But yeah, let's see here. BSP crappy? That's an understatement. I mean, fair. There's a real Craigslist ad that was basically come on over, stomp on trains and pretend to be a giant. Oh, so eat having 30 pounds of imitation crabby in my fridge? Really? What? I mean, I guess it shouldn't surprise me too much from Craigslist stuff, but also what? Okay, Gabe Newell quote. That classic Gabe Newell quote where he says that piracy is about accessibility. That, I don't have the thing memorized, but I remember like that note about it and stuff. When Lord Gaben dies, Valve is gonna become so trashed. You know what? They effing did. The Wii U had just about everything on Virtual Console, but only 5 people bought a Wii U and then the Switch came out and gave it the bare minimum. Yep. Yeah, you are not wrong. That's so sad. Yeah, you found the Sylveon you were looking for. Yeah! Woo! Okay, this one, the easiest way to stop piracy is not by putting anti-piracy technology at work. It's by giving those people a service that's better than what they're receiving from the pirates. That, yeah. Oh yeah, the incompatibility and the inevitability of Nintendo shops shutting down has been a major contribution. You're just going physical with Nintendo. Yeah, I know that some people say that physical media is dying out and that digital is the way of the future and all that. But with the way the industry is going, like another recent thing was people getting really mad at that Ubisoft executive that was like, people really need to get used to not owning their games. And lots of games being behind subscription services that are just lost to time if the license runs out and it's no longer on that subscription service, and it's like, whoops, there goes your game. With all that kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, I really don't trust in putting my games in digital. Like, I go physical and I just collect a whole lot of games on that shelf back there. You can see my Switch titles. There's my 3D printer. You can see right above that spool of white filament, my completely filled to the brim Switch games there. And then the shelf above that, like some collector's editions for things. Like, I've straight up run out of room for Switch games on that shelf. I need to find a new place. I think I've started stacking them on top of my Wii U games. That's like, yeah, physical media. That was my way to go. I don't trust this this digital age, because like if it was digital and it's like, hey, I just own it and it's always gonna be on there and everything is cool, then it's like, okay, that's not a big deal. But when companies are like, digital, this seems like a good excuse for us to continue owning the game that the consumer purchased, and us to have all final say over it and potentially screw them in ways that we like but they don't. I get lost all the time, and this time was no exception. I went, oh no, where am I? Again. Thank you so much. But yeah, physical by us with how the industry is going digital, you would rather have physical. Yeah. One thing that's always bugged me about this game is that the portraits are squares, and then this is a circle here. You just see like the square inside the circle. It always bugged me about Super Mystery Dungeon. Harmonic and Sylveon has been connected. And it's only ever this one portrait that it shows for your character in the middle. Just have a version that extends in like a circle. But no, they didn't do that. All these squares make a circle. You know when you only have like 3 to 4 digital Switch games and everything else is physical? Yeah, I typically try to be going physical where I can, so I gotcha. The connection spread even further. Oh yeah, you get like references and stuff. We're literally starting a multi-level marketing scheme where Sylveon's now recommending her friends. Oh, we out of here immediately because tutorial 1. Wow. Didn't get a single Emera. I'm now realizing. Oh, would you look at that? You saved Sylveon, did you? You did a fine job. By the way, when you saved Sylveon, did you happen to notice anything curious about your connection orb? That might also require a bit of explanation from me. The way that I've never imagined this before, but like the voice that I'm imagining for Ampharos in my head is like Owain from Fire Emblem Awakening. Just like in the connection orb on the lower screen. But yeah, time to start a Ponzi scheme. Is what we're doing here. Allow me to replay what you saw in your connection orb when you saved Sylveon. No, I remember, man. Connected. I'm moving my microphone a little bit closer. You see the vision? And you are now connected. Why is there like the pixelated text for Sylveon there? I think that the text was semi-pixelated before I installed like the nicer textures that clean up the text a bit, but like, I didn't think it was that pixelated. It looks pixelated enough to be like PMD2 text, where it says Sylveon. I don't know. This is proof of the bond that now ties you to Sylveon. Oh, Fire Emblem Awakening intensifies by connecting to her. She's referred her friends. Connection has spread even further. You also become able to see her friends and acquaintances, just like so. That sounds like a major breach of privacy. And now that you can see the posts and requests of those Pokemon, your connections will continue to grow through their connections. Their connection orb does so much more than show you Pokemon's posts. It allows you to see the very bonds that tie all Pokemon together. Whoa, it can even do something like that? Sure can. You won't believe how many times we've been sued over it. Once you complete an expedition to fulfill some requests that you've accepted, the network that connects you to other Pokemon will grow larger and larger. I think I get it. And then I can take requests from those new Pokemon I'm connected to. Precisely. I believe that you two can take it from here, can't you? Do your best on behalf of the Expedition Society. What are you looking at, Kecleon? Just standing there, like, mouth agape. Very well, thanks again, Ampharos. Harmonia, I think we've learned all the tricks to going on expeditions now. Let's do our best as Junior Expedition Society members. That's quite the mouthful. You've finished the day's expedition. Any requests you've successfully completed will be removed from your list. I would love to save my adventure. I really would. Yeah, let's do it. Save completed. The next morning, and it's still not the next chapter yet. Harmonia went to school together with Calixos as usual. Maybe it wants me to do another mission after school let out. Ding dong. See you. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Come on, Harmonia, let's get going and do our best. Okay, so you want me to do more things and stuff? What's the 3 on the world map thing there? New, register favorite? I don't know. Vulpix has a message to give you. View the status. Okay. Okay, one of your friends is in trouble, the other not. You haven't been connected with this Pokemon. So it's just like, I'm aware of their existence. Not only can you see their posts, you can see the posts of people you don't care about because they're vaguely connected to someone you are. What do you mean that already exists? What the heck is a Twitter? X, I'll have you know. View post. I lost something that means a lot to me. Find Vulpix's precious belonging. Cave of Training. Jot it down on the expedition list. Okay. What's going on here on the world map, huh? What's happening? Achievement rate, 33%. What does that mean? What? I really don't know what that means. Because I can't just go here from that. No. Wait a second. It's sure been awfully hot lately. I can't concentrate on lessons when it's hot like this. Well, don't you look like you're having fun? Not that I'm interested in why or anything. I'm sure it's just something uninteresting. Yeah, you jealous little panda, you. Hey, come on! You little lucha maniacs there, you want some drugs like I'm clearly pumping into myself right now? Listen up! I've been hearing the cheers of lucha maniacs. Yeah, from all across the world. Oh yeah! The time has come for my slam schools to open. Cra cra! Whenever you want to remember, move. Coming to Lucha Slam School. It looks like there's a new shop open. Anyway, ignoring that guy, let's check out the orb. PSMD is X. Pokemon X is the same gen as PSMD. Coincidence? I think not. Clearly, the Pokemon Company predicted Twitter becoming X. Ah, yes, surely. That's what's happening here. What? What? What's this? What do you want me to check? I already checked the thing. I literally already did it. But yeah. The Lucha in your mind sounds like Macho Man Randy Savage. Okay. I know I have that Halucha token and stuff. Just, I don't know, do that and then get these out of here. Sure. Wait a second. Where's my... Or was that on the erase timeline? I think that might have been on the erase timeline, actually. Would there be any moves that I already remember that are just in, like, inventory in the back? Hey, children, sorry for the wait. Watch me and remember, Halucha Slam School. Yeah, this stuff here can always re-put on a counter if I really want to. Thing else, forget. How do I want to forget without remembering another thing? What? Change abilities. Fortunately, without a Lucha token, I can't change abilities. I just can't, man. The vibe is off. Back here when you get a Lucha token to prove you're a real Halucha maniac. Anything else? Come on back. Alright, see you later. I said see you later. Get out of the village. Where do you want to go? I want to go here. I only have to go to the second floor, so I probably didn't have to bring any items. Team selection is available now. If you want to take another member too, tap member selection. Once you select members, select let's go to the... Whoa, they predicted Pokemon Let's Go! Okay, yeah, do that, and then let's go. And Lucha token to prove that you're the cream of the crop. That's right. That's what we're doing. I guess I could give you a looplet, but yeah. It's a short thing. Venture hit when you... Oh, I missed this theme! When you embark on an expedition, you control the leader that you selected. If you want to change the leader, tap L, but I don't think you can do that during main story missions. Venture, another way to change the leader is to touch the name of a Pokemon on the lower screen. A leader will have a star. Oh, I forgot that that was a thing in this game, honestly, where you could touch the bottom of the screen. I'm used to just pressing L. Stuff. Alright. Ready to jam out to the amazing soundtrack of Super Mystery Dungeon. Unless this is like a Gates theme that they used here. But either way, it's real good. It's so good, man. I'm going to even turn it up a little smidge here. Come on. Whoa. There we go. Let's crank that up because it's a real slapper. And yeah, being able to change party leader is so good. That should have been in some of the earlier Mystery Dungeon games. Maybe I turned it up too much. It's fine. We're jamming. Hey, look. Stairs. Special attack looplet. Whoa, that sounds good to give to, okay. Yeah. And then here, you can has. All right, go get the items for me, friends. Thank you. You know, the more you play Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, the more you realize how it is mechanically better than Sky by a lot. You say that someone who holds PMD Sky in high regard. I love Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. I'm literally, the necklace that I wear every day is literally a time gear. Like, I love Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. But my god, that's not where my hotkey is to switch back to the 3DS layout. My god, is the AI in that game awful. And it really doesn't have all that much in the way of quality of life kind of stuff. It's just kind of miserable gameplay-wise sometimes. I will say. Oh, time to die, Tyrant. Taking this money first. Oh, I was like, why can't I walk into it? Yeah! Okay, the client Vulpix will be thrilled. Connection orb started shining. As payment for this, you better refer your friends. Connected. The antibiotic and Vulpix have been connected. I love this music so much. Connection has spread even further. Oh yeah, can't you get like Salamence early on? Oh, would you like to exit the dungeon now? Yep, I sure would. I also 100% prefer the bounty connection mission thingy in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. I have to deal with RNG and Sky. Yeah, I kind of like the, it's just so many preset missions where it's like, eventually you'll have done all the things. Where it's like, these are all things that the game is handing you because they were things that were programmed for the game to hand you, and eventually you'll get through them all and recruit all the people. As opposed to just like, it'll randomly generate stuff where it's like, it doesn't feel like you're working towards all that much. It's just like, look through them and what's good rewards. Whereas this, there's merit in doing any of them because it gets you new connections and it's making progress in a finite amount of missions. So it feels a lot more meaningful to do the missions in this. Is what I feel like. No more expeditions today. Erasing complete expeditions from your list. No, don't erase them. Looks like you've earned a reward. Go pick it up from Kangaskhan in the cafe. I honestly forgot that Kangaskhan was in this game.